And indirectly, the judge has determined that the stool was vacant. Judge na kase na akonwa no obi ante so. Akonwa no nsem a na ye pri no ekopie mu wo otumfo anim e ma yewra e di asem no. Eno na yegina so a Nana Samgba Gyafla yegini tu mu a oswai kire the council members. And a council members eswai kire na omudi nachi ekopie mu wo menhye a omuyesa. Enti judge eka asem we. Na benya mranim ni a woye high court judge na obeka say he still think he can make somebody achieve wa na mo odi madwene edi agro enti judge ne determine say why na wo wie ye no en wo san ko animu no ka say eno ne yegina so a Nana Samgba Gyafla yegine tu mu enti judge ne se yaka asem na wie asem na yeka ye no hwan ne di nkonim eye Nana Samgba Gyafla ebusua ne di nkonim omo di nkonim na omo gina so and omudi yi Nana Samgba Gyafla oswai kire ne manfo na omo nso swai kire na okopie mu wo yewra animu.
Memwa kwaba eba Puyaka TV so Puyaka TV ana wushi se we your first time and your comodia subscribe me notification so send anytime bia ya di video betumu no one son sabekan wenye bia ushavia comment fa ho chewa gen fa video no ho busia like video no na share emo bia so nya bi hwe me da si bebre abusia enchemu aba edien ane mu enchemu aba ni nyina eye court judgment a bana seya efa stay of executioner Dormaahene Sumaahene&Sammor omodi koto judgment a Sampa Manhene Sammor Gyafla the second ebusiafo onyaye efa Dormaahene Sampa Manhene documents a also oje ediko National House of Chiefs na ye gazette ni se Sampa Manhene a Dormaahene woye na adwen se enya de odi documents no be konne anase echina eno na Sampa Manhene Sammor Gyafla the second odiko da court ebusiafo court so the judgment eba ya enforce Dormaahene just a share say o mani 21 days on fanyi documents no fan National House of Chiefs na ye gazette Sampa Manhene Sammor Gyafla the second ebusiafo eno na chese Dormaahene Sumaahene&Sammor almost court the stay of execution ekoto so say court enye den enchinchen so kra ebusiafo court act na so edia semina na ebusia ekosi sen Sampa Manhene Sammor Gyafla the second the personal assistant Abu Mahama ebusia wadi munchire munyina aba Dormaahene ne tuachi anaso ogina ho pinti mo de mumienkom
Yedro okuna no awie ti medamasi yewra ne wampa yewra ne na ose tutu His Royal Majesty the Asante Kingdom our president bakope nana ene anwumrei unana Abu Mahama mebodin na mebu memo mechiawo ewo nokreka yedasi ebusia de na mandamus application de na ewum eno ena mepese wote ase because yednam amamre ne amane kwan so a yedi Nana Samgba Gyafla esi ade so wiye no ansa na obeye ohene ewo Ghana ese yenam amamre ne amane kwan so ne yeyiwu wi a yenam amamre ne amane kwan so ne di wasi akonwa so ye fasa ni nyina mu wi a eno ene ye betimi aka se yemfa wodin enka ahemfudin a ewo Ghana mu. So that is how it is. The person must properly, it should be properly selected, nominated, selected, installed. O wie sa nneoma we nyina wie a na ye de ne din no akwakoka Ghana ahemfudin ho. Enti me mpese mese wo mre pii no me pese me de ukọ judgment na judge no emaaye a oma order a enam so a Dormaahene ene Farouk eka osan call court say court and stay sa order no send ye be ya omo mfa nye adwuma eno ena me pese me ne wo komu e de ba nnuama ena judge ne kae me pese wo fa the judgment me pese wo fa the judgment no wo fa judgment na wako page 26 judge no heading no say determination of the application determination a kwanya or faswa or the judgment eba and will make it statement be and no ena me person menu ye kan me susu say me nyansa esen enti me person wo fa wo judgment no me de bia to me page ho wo kwa abehunu say judgment to me de ato ho wo betimi a download na watu obu ase enti pages na me kan nyina na watwetwe to ho enti wo kwa na wakokokan maame no eba no ene wo kan say or say on a careful consideration of the affidavit evidence and the arguments contained in the statement of the case file on behalf of the parties, the germane issues for these court considerations are or say me hwe nneoma mu nyina maka eni ehunsem nyina enneoma mi etemwani a court no be gina so na wodi na temwo beba eni ne edikan or see whether the applicant has fulfilled the basic requirement for his name to be entered in the National Register of Chiefs. Or say ansana medi order bi beba ana medi instruction beba no ese se me hwe se nipa na waba me ni mu se me ma yemfa ne nkrata enko ne yemfa ne din enkas Ghana ahemfudin ho no ese se me hwehwe se na me hunu se ampa o se fata se yedi ne din eka Ghana ahemfudin ho ana. And that was the first a year or the two ho ebusiafo me pese muti nnuama biase sampa konwa at any given time nipa ba ko pe ene tena so at any given time ohini ba ko pe ene tena so enti se yamfa ne se judge no ehunu se ampa sampa konwa no obi etisu dada obi enam amambre ne amane kwan so etisu dada enka onko that stage or say ansa na meka say yemfa wo nkrata anko na yemfa wodin enko Ghana ahemfodin ho no esese mehwe se ade a esese nipa ye na yedi ne din eka Ghana ahemfodin ho no waye saade na na. That was the basic standard that was set here. Enti se judge ne ko nanimu eko oda se mumfa na nankrata no nko ne yemfa ne din ka Ghana ahemfodin ho a na judge no pese wo kire wo se ampa nana ameti ade a ese nipa meti ne yedi ne din eka Ghana ahemfodin ho. Enti mesraw read page 26. At any given time nipa ba ko pe ne tena konwa no so enti senka obiti akonwa no so dada a wonam mmra kwan so no tena so onam amamre kwan so no tena so a enka judge no enka se yensan fa enkrata bi nkone yemfa obidin enko Ghana ahemfodin ho a kire se ona Sampa Manhene tie ne ye so ho enti wo hwe or see the to determine whether the stool is vacant and the processes that were followed to get somebody ansa na judge ne beka say yenkona obi yemfa obi din koka ho ese judge ne hunu say akonwa no obi ntisu nipa na wotisu so obi tisu so a bia na nipa no wamfa mra kwan so na wotena so enti ese a wo hwe say akonwa no vacant because at any given time nipa ba ko pe ene timi tena akonwa no so enti dian ena judge ne yeye yenko page 29 the person oti bibiasi page 29 ne yenko hwe adibi page 29 of the judgment page 29 of the judgment no you call the second paragraph yenko the second paragraph or see event which have occurred before the Sampa Traditional Council and actions taken by the council will speak to this and will say Now, irrespective of the counter deposition and submission made on behalf of the first respondent and the second interested party, it can be gathered from the affidavit evidence that the Sampa chieftaincy issues were resolved by His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II through customary arbitration, after which the applicant candidature was approved by the first interested party, that is the traditional council. Or see, Emfahu Ninye Bunu Regional House of Chiefs for Bejina Menimo Kaye, and in the Samgba lawyers Kaye. Na mehwɛ nneɛma a ɛwɔ m'anim a ɛda di pefee sɛ Sampa nkonnwasɛm ɛho asɛm ɛkɔpie wɔ His Royal Majesty a ɛyɛ Otumfuo Osei Tutu anim ɛma ne ka asɛm ne wieyɛ ɛno ɛna ɛgyina so a the traditional council no ɛgyi Nana Samgba Gyafla ɛtu mu a ɔde ne forms ba ya approve no. And indirectly the judge has determined that the stool was vacant. Judge na kase na akonwa no obi ante so. Akonwa no nsɛm a na ye pri no ekopie mu wɔ Otumfuo anim ɛma yɛwra edi asɛm no. Ɛno na yɛgyina so a Nana Samgba Gyafla yɛgyine tu mu a ɔsɔe kyerɛ the council members ɛna council members ɛsɔe kyerɛ na ɔmo di n'akyi ekopie mu wɔ menhye a ɔmo yɛ saa. Enti judge ɛka asɛm wei. Na benya mmeranim ni a woye high court judge na obeka say he still think he can make somebody achieve wa na mo odi madwene edi agro enti judge ne determine say why na wo wie ye no en wo san kɔ animu no ka say eno ne yagina so a Nana Samgba Gyafla yagine tu mu enti judge ne se yaka asɛm na wie asɛm na yɛka ye no hwan ne di nkonim eye Nana Samgba Gyafla ebusua ne di nkonim omo di nkonim na omo gina so e na omo di yi Nana Samgba Gyafla osɔe kyerɛ ne manfo na omo nso sɔe kyerɛ na okopie mu wɔ yɛwra animu. Nti we very simple enti se akonwa to na ɛho asɛm akopie ne yɛkan wie na obi di nkonim na obi di nkuguo na obi a wadi nkonim ne ne wadi nkuguo nkrata bepie wɔ beebi a abra akɔtɔ akasa yɛka asɛm na wie a na wo timi nya obi a obɛka sɛ ampa obi nkrata akopie beebi yɛbɛ gazette na sabi me say mo kan a mo nti ase. Don't give your brain to somebody for him to use it for you. Emfa wadwene emma obi emma ne control ma wo. Mo ankasa mo mpa bi na mo kan. So ho. Mo mpa bi na mo kan. Ye to so biom. The judge affirmed that Nana Kwadwo Masa is the only authorized person we the acting president ne nsa hye krata ase a ekire se sa krata no na di mu. Yenko page 32 the opening paragraph. Page 32 the opening paragraph. Yenko ho. Or see, the respondents by its own actions giving recognition to Nana Kwadwo Masa II as the acting president of the traditional council. Furthermore, the second respondent also give due recognition to the acting president of the traditional council in the absence of substantive president as submitted before this court by the second respondent's lawyer. Or say, Nyoma bia eye Samgba for ye Yamamuti asiase jase hini etwere krata edi command Nana Kwadwo Masa in his capacity as the acting president. Any emra na Nana Kofi no efiri mu no emre biara yebeba meeting bia no traditional council beba meeting no omo twere edi command Nana Kwadwo Masa minisia omo be twere no wo Bunu Regional House of Chiefs no omo twere Nana Kwadwo Masa din a omo twere say acting president. And the judge no eka say the acting president no eye Nana Kwadwo Masa and osan kan biom say or this court cannot turn blind eye to the applicant's CD forms duly signed by Nana Kwadwo Masa in his capacity as the president of the Sampa Traditional Council. Or see, court we entimi money engusu say Nana Samgba Gyafla enkrata no nipa odimu eye Nana Kwadwo Masa on ye the acting president of the Sampa Traditional Council no Nana Kwadwo Masa na nensa ehyasie so ho enti enkrata mbienu yamfa ne se enkrata 30 na akopie wo the National House of Chiefs se obi ase mi ba ma ya gazette mi na court ne si nipa osefata se nensa hye krata ase a ye gitumu no Nana Kwadwo Masa na court no nso si ono nso na nensa hye Nana Samgba Gyafla krata ase okay enti dien ene wo hobium enti se nkrata 30 ekopie National House of Chiefs it doesn't matter why na court ne say ono na seso wo sign Nana Kwadwo Masa why na court ne say Nana Kwadwo Masa sign ne de Nana Samgba Gyafla and that is all enti mesremo emamu ntena ho emma mulenge eni omu a omu pese omu gigi musika enti omu ba no omu ka no kra kiremu a no omu ba se mu ntua sika bia mu ntua nti de bia omu ba no matani asem no e de akiremu enti mesremu niye osani Nana Samgba Gyafla enkrata na court ne si ono na wadi mu judge no nso e ka se eye Nana Kwadwo Masa ono eni obi a odi mu a ese woye the fact that Nana Samgba Gyafla ni application forms ni nyina emiti provisions a what the Chieftaincy Act ni mu ahemfomra ewo Ghana court no egitu mu se Nana Samgba Gyafla ni nkrata no emiti sa ahemfomra esese nipa miti ansa na ye de ne din aka ahemfodin ho o kan judgment no page 33 o kan page 33 you will see it here or see on scrutiny of affidavit and supplementary affidavit of the applicant and the first interested party, this court is certified that there has been a compliance with provisions of section 14 clause 2 of Act 759 as regard to the applicant. It is so because the affidavit evidence suggests that after the death of Nana Kofi Suno II, it is Nana Kwadwo Masa who has been held out and has been recognized as the acting president of the Traditional Council, the Sampa Traditional Council. In other words, Nana Kwadwo Masa, in his capacity as the acting president of the Sampa Traditional Council, has performed his statutory duty of notifying the first respondents of change to the membership of the Traditional Council and the approval of the applicants as per the submission of the CD forms. The Chieftaincy Act in the sea say ohini be free moi and if there are changes in the Traditional Council, the Traditional Council no ni president in this case Dormaahene no ebe notify the region corona ye falling no say Dormaahene no anywhere near all acting no ene ye na juma eso wo notify. In our case no near na all acti eye Nana Kwadwo Masa enti court ni si juma dia constitution ne dia hye Nana Kwadwo Masa nsa say onye no eno na Nana Kwadwo Masa eye no say obem notify the Bono Regional House of Chiefs say ye hini no afrimu ene yesi foforo enti ni foforo na yasi no ya approve the bibia ni nkrata ni no mu di abremo. And that is how the Constitution says. And the judge, SI Kadi and Bium. Or see, at this point, Emra Nana Kwadwo Masa paired through the Traditional Council, Eddie Nana Samgba Gyafla and Krata no by the same page 34 no. Judge see, at this point, the law enjoys the first respondent the Bono Regional House of Chiefs in terms of section 14.2 of Chieftaincy Act 759 to also notify the second respondent. No discretion arises. Mutie, or see, no discretion arises except where there are demonstrable legal impediment. Or say Traditional Council no enya de enkrata ni ba ebe ka kire the Bono Regional House of Chiefs na. Ni ese Bono Regional House of Chiefs ni ye ne say mun so mu de sankrata no common National House of Chiefs. na munni dwumadie bia wo mu muntimi nka se wenti yemfa nkọ ana wenti yemfa nkọ. So read page 34 and we can say unless say there are legal impediment eye emramo akwansidie bi judge ne ko so e kan say enuoma eye emramo akwansidie sene ensem bi a esida a yadi a ekire a the Bunu Regional House of Chiefs omo judge lawyer no kro mo fa no eno kra kotu sa asem no eye owo abdication and deposition. Na ono judge no ohwe sa nneoma nyina onhunu se ebi esi there wasn't any demonstrable impediment esi won kwan se ema omumfa na nankrata no enko. So ho enti mesre se mumma obi emmedada mo emma monko yiyi sika enkotua sika bi ma omunni enu na ebe ma mobu befu na makasa obi asese mu nokre yemfa sika ento nokre ti nokre ne si nana Samgba Gyafla otoso mienu ye nam amamre kwan so eyi no oswai tre ne na hemfo omonso gene to mo swai tre no edi na chi ema ye ba bebi akonwa ne hye emo mbe swai tre no nana no mo betena ase eye meeting egi ne CD form ne to mo approve ye through their acting president omo bebo the Bunu Regional House of Chiefs no amane judge ne say according to the Chieftaincy Act no omo ne dwumadie bi adi ne yeso omo di nyina ne say omo act to say post office me twere letter e de koma abrante Farouk Ahmed a post office phone ti me enti letter no enka say grammatical errors wo mu ana letter no na nka say 100 words and me twere no 50 words ni santi no mumfa nko. They cannot say that. Omo medjuma ni say omo be deliver the letter to abrante Farouk ti anu wi a onu mbom ene wo questions bi ene ayi bi a onu na bebisa. Enti the Bunu Regional House of Chiefs no eye conveying belt na no kra ye ba court omo lawyer e kan ye that they are conveying belt. In the judgment no judge ne can say they are a conduit, they are only carrying an information. Enti obi a ye di ade amawo a wudwumadi a wo ye nyina ne se wo carry ade no koma obi na wo ye na dwuma no na wo tena ho enu no hu esre se me matena si matia no mahwe ma reject na wanya high court judge na wetimi anya nananom asebi anka nananom di mu wo nimdi a mu wo enkurofo a mu nim ade e wo mu nkuro no mu a senka munnim kura na ono nkwa na ye lawyer kura mpo a mo wo lawyers wo mu kuru mu a mbetimi consult wo na manya judgment ni bi di a kire wo na maka kire wo say na judgment ni tie na mu narrate wo na benya mo na makotena si na mu di mu nsa be hye mo da murifa mu na na adwoman badu ebedi manim na ode ne ngwase e ba mo so na mo nso muti ho na oye mo yodio mesremo enye sei na mu nananom kon ya omode chichire mu kuro no se saa suban we bi no omode ye ya nka mu kuro no enru bebi a moduru ya mabenya aheni a modi a mukọ the ama aban enkriti a statutory body ema mu nkọ ho te mesremo ama mu mambo ho kan ema Dormaahene ene Nwunomahene emfa mu niagro mesremo enti asembisa me bisa mo ne say does the Bunu Regional House of Chiefs have the power to reject a CD form? So Bunu Regional House of Chiefs omu wotumi say omu betimi aka say CD forms ade aba no ya disqualify ya reject yanko page 34 page 34 second paragraph no judge no make no very clear. Baby I'm kind say no. Or say at this point the law enjoined you to in terms of the section 14.2 no of the act to notify this no description arises. Unni anu ye bia unni dwumedie bia eka ho ade bia ne hobium a wodi beka ho enti wo kan na abadan ho a or see consequently the first respondent ought to have complied with the provision of section 14.2 and 62.1 of the Act 759 by transmitting the applicant CD form to the second respondent. By this provision, the first respondent only act as a conduit for transmitting the CD forms of the applicant to the second respondent. Period. Samukaya muntiasie Dormaahene any Dormaahene. Besremo. Don't continue disgracing and then don't continue making foolishness of your education. Education na moko school na moko ye besremo a samusua ade pa yi a ene muntu moboase na monhwe nneoma bi page 34 last paragraph. Or say emra the Sampa Traditional Council through the acting president Edin and Samgba Gyafla forms by no munni tumi bia munni hwi ne se mo ye nyina ne se mo din krata no ekoma national na munmu act as conduit and what the period ba ho o se munni hwi ye biom ento utimi konya Dormaahene Dormaahene any other enhayemfo a who will not sit down and analyze things etimi di o machi etimi ka se ye yakoye meeting ne court ahye se ye mfa nko no ya reject na sebi me say adi we no they are not using it sebi, and that is the truth. Ehwo no enye mabusua fie o ena enye momomra ena modi ye adwuma wo ho eye Ghana mrapon a ye gina so edi ahemfo mra a ye Act 759 ebaye no eno ene ye di ye adwuma entemesre timamufo monya wo agro bi no mudi. They are only joking, they are only playing. Na se omo wo sa atumi ni dia se nkan no de omo wo se ahemfo bunu regional house of chiefs se wo sa atumi no etimi decide dia ene se nka metimi konya ahemfo be ye 20 bi na metwatwa ska ma omu anka Dormaahene kura metimi ato no e ma mat gazette me as Dormaahene. If that is what is happening, nkan no de nka is not a big deal. And one say manya sika bi na mato Dormaahene Dormaahene se wono opeska pa ento ono me peska kakra bi mana sa nkrofo na matoto mu na maba so yatu Dormaahene enti yemfa me gazette forms nko ne yenko gazette me say me ye Dormaahene. Is this sensible? Ti mesramu mamuntna ho enye mo hu lawless people, a group of lawless enkokrafo a mugu ha mumfa mra enye adwuma ene amamre enye adwuma enti munni sa atomi no emamu no mo hu na atemenya obi a ye friend also ye historian papa panyinemu a wako pension na wako ukuru enam say 1 to 2 nyoma yi enti no ohwe ne curtains a egu ne dan mu ohwe ne curtains na I to say ye friend say entoma bi a ye de sa bi entoma bi a ohwe curtains ne color yellow ne nkonwa yellow odi ku ne dan mu na wa hye ne che na wa ye nanim te say ya chichiri na bodua so na on ka nokre bebi a wanyine duru yi app sebi esese utimi bie wano na aka nokre na hwe de we a wo ye video ne ensem keka ene nuoma bi a wo ye na papa panyina over 70 years wo ye see. Na what is the essence of your education na wo ye no ana wo kan ade a wonti ase
Well, obusia enye Sampa Manhene na Samgba Gyafla II, the personal assistant Abu Mahama and obusiafo motene kano nensemu a odi abai edian ana wo ka famu comment section hono nechere wadwen e fa nensemu no ho hanom eye Puyaka TV me see talk for more ye de bebro it is way your first time any bomodin subscribe me notification so click on send your video bia ye de betumo no won son sabekan no nye bia she me das bebre